Welcome to Discover Greater Lansing. Whether you're exploring the rich history of the state capital or indulging in incredible local food, there's always something exciting happening here. Discover living. Discover mobility. Discover downtown. Discover giving back. Greater Lansing offers breathtaking activities and outdoor adventures, ensuring a perfect balance of city life and natural beauty. Discover the warmth. Discover the charm. Discover Greater Lansing. The journey begins now.
Hello and welcome back to Discover Greater Lansing. I am so thrilled today because we have Mrs. Lansing here with us, Julie from Choose Lansing. We have Amy from the Potter Park Zoo. Me and animals, I just can't get enough of them and all you do. And we're gonna dive deep into everything that's going on in Greater Lansing, as well as more specific at the zoo. So Julie, why don't you kick us off? Let us know, for those who don't know what Choose Lansing is, because you have a kind of a new cool name and it's shorter and easy to remember and it tells you what you need to do, right?
That's the best thing about it, isn't it? We say Choose Lansing and that's what we want you to do. And
exactly.
Yeah, so we are the destination marketing organization for this Tri-County region. So we spend so much time trying to promote our offerings of where you can have a convention or meeting, where you can have an amateur sporting event, where you can just go and experience something new and different and be a part of our community. So we do that in so many different ways. Our team goes out and does trade shows. We have a huge marketing presence. We work with all of our local partners like Wharton Center for Performing Arts and Potter Park Zoo, who's here with us today. And we just feel that there are so many stories to be told about our community. So we always want to tell what's new, what's coming, what's different, because it is a challenge to work in destination marketing. There's a lot of destinations throughout the country that are doing the exact same thing. So we're able to welcome 6.7 million visitors. Wow. And then we work to then get them to understand and visit all the locations in the community that they can find. And we are blessed to have so many unique opportunities with being a capital city, with being a Big Ten university town. It gives us so many different ways to connect with people. So that's a bit of our background and our mission. We've been a community organization for over 60 years. So it's not something that's just started. The name is new, but our work continues over time.
And I bet it's changed, had to change so much over time. Just in a year or two, you were on our show last year and we were talking about new and exciting things. And not only do we have to adapt, but we have to kind of meet people where they are and like what people want to come and experience when they're traveling. And it's sometimes traveling for work, for pleasure, for sports. So all those different reasons. And we just have such a, I don't know, charcuteries are so popular still. Like we have a charcuterie of offerings, right?
I love that way to describe it. I think I might use that. I like that a lot. Everyone knows exactly what you're talking about.
Right, and it's and you've got all those people on your team that help people connect with what they want to do. Right.
Right. So we, a lot of destinations have that one thing that distinguishes them. Like it's a beach town or there's a one big attraction or museum or something like that. But we're so fortunate to have so many different things, and it is ever changing. Like you said, we definitely focus a lot more on outdoor recreation and trails of what people want to see and do and experience while they're here. So the investment that all the communities have made in our trail system, where you can now connect from North Lansing all the way into Mason and some extensions off to the side to get you into campus and other areas, into the Potter Park Zoo, who's here today too, to talk about that. But just 10 years ago, that wasn't even something that people were really focused on. And so a lot more attention now is being paid to the Grand River so that we can do more with the river and have that be an asset for our community. And that's just starting to develop as we speak. There's ways, how can we make this different? There's the fish ladder has been a salmon fish ladder where the salmon run, but now it's turning into a entertainment venue where the fish can still be through there, but it'll have a performance space and a park enhancements to really make that a venue and an opportunity for people to come and gather and be together in our community.
Well, that tees us up nicely. Fish. There, I'm not sure about fish, but there are everything you could possibly imagine. And that visitors, and we're going to get to the impact of visitors in just a bit. But Amy, you're just sitting here and you're going to fill us in on everything that's happening, because there's so much happening
Absolutely.
at Potter Park Zoo, our beloved zoo, and how fortunate we are to be able to offer it. I remember taking my daughter there when she was a little girl, and now I'm taking my granddaughter, and her school class went there.
That.
And just to experience that through the generations, and because I'm such a big advocate of multi-generational experiences, what better place than the zoo for 3 or 4 generations just go and enjoy such a day. So history, there's a long history. Why don't you give a little background on Potter Park Zoo, and then maybe what's happening and what's looking into the future?
Certainly. So Potter Park Zoo is over 100 years old. Our 100-year centennial anniversary was in 2020. We had many plans to celebrate that didn't happen for obvious reasons. But we've been able to do some really incredible things since that time. In the time that I've been at the zoo, which has been a little over 10 years, the changes have just been amazing.
Yes.
The zoo is very much focused on the welfare of the animals and making sure that the habitats are appropriate for them, that they're expressing natural behaviors, and that they're enjoying their lives. And the measures of those things are very different than historically things have been done in zoos. And that's been critical to our work. We're also doing a lot more conservation types of work. So that's been really exciting.
Yes.
Like some of the things we've been able to do are amazing. And ideally what we want to do is inspire people to want to conserve in their own spaces. So when guests come to the zoo, they have the opportunity to be inspired by the ambassador animals that we have that are ambassadors for their species in our space. So,
Right. And that's what, people say, oh, seeing, a caged animal maybe is not, but I've always realized, first of all, to be able to experience it, and these aren't animals you went out and got in the wild. They are, they came to us as treasures and gems, as we were talking about earlier in the zoo, and to learn about them and to learn about the endangered species and what we can do. I think that's a really great point, and how it has changed. When talking about my generational experience when my daughter was young, maybe that wasn't such an emphasis, but for sure it is now.
Definitely.
And introducing young generations to all these different animals, and letting them know too how they can help preserve them. And I have to tell you this, one of the kindergartners in my granddaughter's class, he was reading all the Latin names, and this little guy, and I was so impressed, but it's educational.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's just not go run and eat ice cream. That could be it. That's what I was doing. But just learning and growing. And I'm sure, Julie, people come into our community, and that, like you said, it's a treasure, it's a gem within our many treasures. But and that's part of their itinerary, to go and support. And every time somebody comes in, they're opening their eyes, and hopefully it does take a lot of support, both volunteer support and monetary support, to keep our zoo going. So is a zoo the destination for probably young families? Certainly.
Right. It's got two folds for us for what we do to bring people to the community. If you're here attending an amateur sporting event, you've brought your whole family, you're here to play 3 soccer games over 3 different days, then what else are you going to do?
Yeah.
So they get to go to the zoo. They get to get that enrichment and understanding about our world and species that surround us. So that is a great opportunity. And then, yes, there are many people that come in for a day, an overnight, and the zoo is definitely part of their itinerary. And that's why some of the changes that are coming to the zoo in the very short future are really impactful, to give everyone that new experience, that it's never just the same thing twice.
Oh, so Julie talked about
Teed that up.
Yes, oh my gosh, teeing it up, what appropriate.
Yeah.
I'm taking a break from golf, but that's a great tee up for what's happening at the zoo, what developments are underway.
Many, many things are happening at the zoo. So most people, I think, would be aware that we're building an animal health facility. It's nearing completion, and we are going from about 900 square feet to about 6,000 square feet. It has a separate surgical space, treatment room, quarantine and animal holding area, laboratory. It is a game changer for us. And to what we were speaking about before in terms of conservation efforts, one of the things that we are able to do at the zoo, because we do house these unique species and we do have access to tissue samples and blood samples and things like that, is we do an inordinate amount of research. And that research can benefit wild populations because they can't necessarily draw blood from a wild rhino. So being able to do those things gives us a body of data that it would not be available. So having this hospital and having this larger space to do this work, in addition to providing excellent animal welfare and animal care, which we already do with some obstacles, we'll also be able to do a lot more research and be able to educate a lot of people who are working with wild populations. So that's pretty exciting.
That is very exciting.
Stay tuned. We are going to, when we know the actual date of completion, we'll be announcing that, and we are going to have basically a grand opening week, and there'll be an opportunity for the public to come and tour the facility.
Oh, great.
So yeah, so it's pretty exciting.
That is very exciting.
Yeah.
And a new feature is going to be that it's going to have windows so that you can see some of the procedures taking place, or there might be videos playing to show you how they care for the animals, which I think is something that attracts people to see something that they've never been able to see before.
And we wanted to make sure that this also had educational components. So for the different education programming that happens at the zoo, our big zoo lesson, our high school class, even our summer camp, Zoocombi, there, in some procedures, there will be video where the cameras are actually in the light so you can see what the veterinarian is doing, and he'll be able to speak to these people depending on the intensity of the procedure. We may have trained people outside of the facility explaining what's happening to guests or people who are participating in our education program. So that was a big element of this, is to make sure that we shared the level of care that these animals get.
That's wonderful, and how exciting! We can have our own TV show, like like ER, but it's animal ER, and the educational component, as you said, for people to be able to view and see that there's so much more behind the scenes of a zoo than just what we see up front.
Sure.
The care the care and love that goes into taking care of all types of species, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, our animals get better care than most people's pets. And I take really good care of my pets, but I guarantee it is all of the things that we do, we incorporate educational opportunities. And then our next project, which is still in the very preliminary planning stages, is we are going to do a revamp of our feline and primate building. It's an old building. It was built in the 30s, renovated in the late 80s. It is barely accessible, so that is a priority, making sure that our guests can see the animals and navigate the building without any obstacles. So there's a lot of work on the interior doing that. We're also going to expand the habitats for the tiger and for our snow leopard, which is going to be wonderful. There'll be some major changes to the primate exhibits, so that's going to be great for our primates. And we will also be adding some smaller exhibits inside as we get rid of some. I don't know if you've been in there, but there are a lot of steps and a lot of ramps and a lot of things like that. So we're going to be working within a very different space. So stay tuned. When we have final plans, they will be announced, and we're really, really excited about this.
Well, it is so exciting that so much is happening right here in our zoo, right here in our city, that is educational. The accessibility, like you talked about, I know the hay ride was a big thing for the fall, and enjoying, so that everybody can enjoy it, and how you're now accommodating. And the animals sound like they're going to love it too, because new spaces, who doesn't love a new space?
And that's a priority for us. As we're considering this space, accessibility obviously is very critical, but the welfare of the animals and making sure that they have exhibits that are appropriate for their care, that is the top priority for this project.
That's wonderful. I mean, it's a zoo with the biggest heart, right? And that's what we do in Lansing. Julie, do you want to kind of wrap things up about any last things, Amy, that you want to share about the zoo? Volunteer opportunities, or
always.
They can check you out online, and we'll put that website up for you, because people to give back and say, I contributed to this wonderful asset of ours in our city. And Julie, I know you've got so much happening, and the zoo is just one of those many, many things that makes our region so very great. So Amy, thank you for everything you do. We'll get more updates, but Julie, let's talk about more globally in our last couple of minutes here on the show about looking forward and how we prepare and anticipate the growing needs of our travelers.
Right. So when I first started out, I talked about a lot of the amateur sports events that are coming to town, and different conventions and meetings come to town, and just our general visitors. And if they came here 10 years ago or 5 years ago, I think that's the message that we try to get out so frequently, is that everything keeps changing in this community for the better, that there's new opportunities, but new exhibits, new, I use Impression 5 Science Center for an example, because they were chosen as the #1 science center children's science center in the nation by Newsweek magazine. And you don't get that by doing the same old, same old. And so they are constantly trying to do new things and make it a new experience every time you come, so you can have those intergenerational things like you talked about, that parents bring their kids and then those kids bring their kids, and it goes on. And that's what we like to foster here by working with our local attractions and different places that people want to visit. I think the key that we've all really been focused on as an attractions base here in our community is that accessibility that Amy mentioned. Every attraction has done something to really focus on accessibility for the travelers, and that's what we've gravitated to and promoted, that we have that here, and that's something that we can all take advantage of as residents here, but also great for our visitors, and brings people here just for that reason.
And on that point, this isn't just for people who don't live here. This is for everyone, and this is why Greater Lansing is. And every time somebody watches this show, they go, I didn't know that. I'm going to go check that out. And that's what we love. So thank you, Amy, Julie. Thank you for all the updates. We look forward to talking to you soon.
Hi, I'm Julie Thomasma, CEO at Child and Family Charities, and I am so glad to have with me today Erin, who is an adoptive mom and foster parent for us at Child and Family Charities. So can you just tell us, Erin, why did you choose Child and Family Charities to work with in this process?
So it was sort of a happenstance. I was at the Charlotte Frontier Days, and you guys had a booth available, and my husband and I were starting into the foster care journey, and went up to the booth and meshed really well with the people that were there, and went to an orientation that very next Wednesday.
Great. I mean, we have an amazing team, so I'm so glad that you're able to connect with us. Tell me a little bit about the supports that you receive from Child and Family Charities and the team.
Yeah, so Child and Family has sort of become like a second family. You know, all of the caseworkers and licensing workers and everybody, you know, we're almost on a first name basis, and I can reach out at any point in time with any questions, and they're always there.
Wonderful. And tell me about, you know, it's a challenging process. We know that. Tell me about one of those challenges and how it's gone for you.
You know, the hurdles when it came to adopting, you know, we kept having a few hurdles that we had to jump over, and, you know, they just really reassured us that it's going to happen. These kids are your kids, and they will be forever your kids.
Nice. And what piece of advice would you have for others who are thinking about doing this process?
Do it. I mean, you know, if it is 100% the hardest thing that we've done, but the most rewarding at the same time.
We are just so thankful to have those beds to go to and people to call when we have a youth that comes into care and is in need of a home. So thank you for being that safe haven for children in our community.
You're welcome. The kiddos need us, so.
Thank you so much.
I have Robin Ryan here today from Eastbrook Homes. With our inventory being what it is, Robin, I bet you're building a lot of homes.
We are building a lot of homes.
That is great. Tell me about Eastbrook.
Eastbrook is an amazing builder. They're semi-production. They'll customize to your own specific needs and desires. They have a wonderful process set up.
Nice.
People come, they start with me, they choose their lot and their house plan, and they end up getting their own personal designer. They work out of our 4,000 square foot design center. It's just amazing, amazing process.
Sounds like a really nice experience.
It is, and I'm so proud to be able to represent Eastbrook Homes and deliver such a beautiful home to the clients.
Nice. And so speaking of your clients, tell me, who is the average builder, or I should say consumer? Is it someone coming out of a home, or, you know, new people to home ownership? What would you say?
So we work with all ranges of different demographics and people. We have people doing their first home with the lack of inventory.
Okay.
We also have empty nesters that want to downsize. And we have prices starting from the high 300s. So we just offer a lot of different opportunities.
Nice, nice. Yeah. So bottom line, if you're not finding what you want in the area, people should explore new builds because it's changed.
They really should. I get people who think that they can't build, and I'm like, just explore it. Just check it out. You might be pleasantly surprised.
Exactly. Well, I'll tell you, with the inventory the way it is out there, I think that every buyer should consider this. So I hope that our audience reaches out to Robin at Eastbrook and explores a new build today.
Hi, I'm Deanna East, and I'm with Michigan State University Extension. Here with me is Tanner, who is an MSU Extension health educator. So he has some tips on how we can get better sleep.
Yeah, so we cover a lot of different sleep tips in our sleep program. Our number one tip that we give to everybody is to try your best to set a consistent bedtime and wake time. Even on the weekends, when sometimes we want to sleep in and try to catch up on sleep. So we want to try to set ourselves up so we can get that 7 to 9 hours of sleep at night. Only go to bed when you're tired. If that bedtime comes around and you're still not really feeling tired, make sure you keep that consistent alarm for the morning. Because over time, if you start waking up at the same time every day, you'll start to get tired around that bedtime. So be sure to set a consistent bedtime and wake time. And we go over a lot of other tips in our program as well, but that's our first tip we cover.
So tell us about some of the programs, such as Tai Chi.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have a lot of programs that really partner well with sleep and helping us get better sleep. So we have some new programs called Tai Chi for Better Sleep and Mindfulness for Better Sleep that combine some of our mindfulness and our Tai Chi programs with our larger Sleep Education for Everyone program. We know that mindfulness and Tai Chi can help us relax, help us de-stress, and it can be really great to incorporate those as part of our sleep habits and our bedtime routine.
So who can attend these classes and how do they sign up?
Yeah, everyone can come. They're free. You can sign up on our health programs webpage, and we'd love to see as many people out there that are interested to come out to a program, either online or in person.
Thank you, Tanner, and thank you for joining us to learn more about MSU Extension programs.
Hi, today we're here with Chris Swope, the president of the Lansing Rotary Club. Chris, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And as a fellow Rotarian, I have to tell you, I absolutely love Rotary, but for folks that don't know and might be interested in joining, why should people join?
Well, the Rotary Club of Lansing is a great group of people, so it's great for networking, it's great for being involved in your community, and for giving back. We also, we meet weekly, and we have some of the best speakers in the area, so you'll get to hear information that you would not otherwise hear. An example, we just had the COO of the University of Michigan Health for this region spoke to us, some great information. We had the superintendent of the Lansing School District, we've had the Lansing mayor. So some of the people that are really involved in our community are here talking to us, and you get an opportunity to hear from them and pose some questions to them. It's a wonderful meeting.
Absolutely. And so you meet once a week. Tell us a little more about that and what a meeting looks like and what you do.
So meeting involves lunch, of course. We meet noon over at LCC. Then the speaker and the meeting starts at 12:30. It's an hour long. We have special music most of the time, so it's a really engaging, entertaining meeting. And then you hear from the speaker. So it's food, camaraderie, everything you could really want in a lunch. And I just love going to the meetings, meeting people, networking. It's a great experience.
It really is. And so if folks want to learn more, they can go to lansingrotary.org.
Hello everyone, my name is Tolulope Adedoku of University of Michigan Health Sparrow. Cardiac care is still an essential topic no matter your age or your gender, and it remains the leading cause of death in the United States. often silently sneaking up on patients and families. Joining us today is Dr. Matthew Wilcox, a cardiologist at University of Michigan Health Sparrow Heart and Vascular. So thank you so much for being here.
Appreciate it.
So how does the average person maintain a good heart health?
I think that's such an important question. When you look at maintaining your heart health, the first things that you want to look into is what can you do yourself? And those things entail around obviously keeping a very active lifestyle. If you can get 20 to 30 minutes of active exercise in each day, talking about maintaining a well-balanced diet, you want to make sure that you're incorporating good balance between fats and proteins and non-processed sugars. And very imperative is that we want to stay nicotine-free. So as much as we can stay away from smoking and vaping, those are the three things that you can do outside of treatment that's necessary later maybe that will help keep your healthy lifestyle for your heart.
So it sounds simple. So what are some signs and symptoms that indicate that somebody is having heart issues? If
Yeah,
it gets to that?
it's a great question. The big thing that we want to look for, of course, everybody thinks about chest pain, but you want to also incorporate different things like shortness of breath, jaw pain, sometimes nausea can be a sign that your heart is having an issue. Fast heartbeats or irregular heartbeats or feeling lightheaded or dizzy, swelling that's unexplained in your legs, those can all be symptoms that your heart is having a problem.
Thank you so much for sharing that information. It's super important. To learn more about the Leading Edge Structural Heart Program at U of M Health Sparrow, visit uofmhealthsparrow.org/cardiovascular. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Wilcox.
You're welcome.
CATA's Regional Mobility Solutions makes a difference in our community. Hear what riders and community leaders have to say about the value CATA delivers to the capital city area.
My name is Ahan Gohil. I'm a sophomore here at MSU. I'm studying public relations. I'm an international student. I was born in Mumbai, so it was really awesome to see that MSU does offer like public transportation services. And I just think it's like a much better alternative to car travel because it's more sustainable. I live at Shaw, so it's right beside the CATA bus station. Makes it really easy to just get wherever I want to be on campus. I'm usually taking the 31 and 30 wherever I go. In Mumbai, public transportation is very common. We have the subway, metro, and then the train. We also have like rickshaws and taxis as well. So you don't really have to drive anywhere. You can always just take the bus or wherever you have to go. During football season, I know CATA still runs. I really like how the signs on the CATA buses turn into like Go Spartans or whatever. I really like that because it shows that it cares about the community that it's in. The same with like the art fairs and everything. It's pretty cool that CATA gives back to the community. I honestly think the more public transport, the better. Anytime a person asks me about like public transportation in the US, I'll be like, there needs to be more of it. So, strong advocate for if CATA wants to expand to different neighborhoods or different counties maybe in the future, that'd be awesome.
Wow, what another great show and another reason to discover Greater Lansing. So many wonderful things happening in our great, great community. From living, working, and playing, we've got it right here in Greater Lansing. Thanks for joining us.